One nation under blackmail. No, I'm not talking about AIPAC or the Israel lobby. I'm talking about one nation under blackmail. Yes, it's absolutely over for white people. I mean, seriously, what the hell has happened to white people? You guys want me to talk about black fatigue? Sure, I mean, yes, there's a lot of poverty, there's a lot of violence in the black American community. I mean, yes, that happens. But let's talk about white people. What the hell has happened to you guys? I would say the number one thing is that, I'm sorry to say, you guys got lazy. I think, yes, at some point, white people were extremely hardworking. And that's how they were able to build some of the most successful nations on Earth. But unfortunately, I think good things never last. So I'm sure all of you guys have noticed this trend lately with all these race swapping of all these characters in Hollywood and in mainstream media. Have you guys noticed something? So, for example, Captain America is black now, right? It's played by Anthony Mackie. So Chris Evans, he's done. But at least I would say, yes, Captain America. I'm talking about the Chris Evans version. And Marvel did give him the perfect ending. So I think it would be a terrible idea to actually bring him back. So black Captain America it is. I don't know what's going on with the Harry Potter remake. A lot of people are saying that Papa Isidore, he's getting swapped out because he looks nothing like Snape. But if you guys have actually watched the movies and if you guys have read the books, Snape is actually not the main villain in the series. He's actually the hero. So yeah, Snape is, as of now, he's being portrayed as a black guy. And also in Peter Pan, right? So they race swapped almost everybody to Asian, to brown, to black. But have you guys noticed something that's also very important about these race swappings? Some white characters are still being kept in these movies. And so, yeah, Peter Pan, right? So Peter Pan gets race swapped. What about Captain Hook, the villain in the series, right? The villain in the story. Captain Hook is still a white guy. Would they ever cast a black guy to play Thanos? Or what about Doctor Doom? They would never ever cast a brown guy or a black guy to play the main villain of these movies or TV series. It's always going to be a white guy, and they're trying to make all the black men to be the hero in these storylines, right? They want a black Captain America, they want a black Snape, they want a black Peter Pan, but Captain Hook, Thanos, Doctor Doom, yeah, all the villains are still going to be white people. Would they ever make, let's say, if they made a comedy or something of, let's say, a black Superman movie, would they dare to title it Man of Steel? Imagine that, right? Just as a comedy movie, I'm talking about, like 21 or 22 Jump Street. I think those are the two of the funniest movies I've ever seen. So would they make a comedy titled The Man of Steel, a black Superman movie? They would never, ever do that because the goal of the mainstream media is to degrade white people, is to subjugate white to the point where they will eventually become a second-class citizens. And let's face it, it's over for white people because very, very soon, by 2040, in the United States and in America, white people will become minorities. So even without, the propaganda, even without DEI, so the vast majority of the lawmakers, the vast majority of your politicians, the local mayors, the councilman, the councilwoman, the people who are working at the school board, the professors, right? So just by a natural selection, most of them will be non-white people. And they will do everything in their power to humiliate white people, to degrade white people, and they will force them to become second-class citizens, just like the caste system in India. They want to relegate white people down to the Dalits category. By the way, Dalits in the caste system in India, these are the untouchables. These are the street sweepers. These are people who clean public bathrooms. These are the homeless. These are the people who live in extreme poverty. So that's what they want to do to white people. So how did white people get to this point where they're being forcefully subjugated to second-class citizens? I'll tell you guys exactly how that happened. Listen, to all the white folks who are watching this video, I'm not saying that, this is the white culture in 2025, but I would say, yes, this is the majority. I would say probably 80% of all white people living in Western countries. Yeah, you guys got lazy. You guys got lazy because you guys got too comfortable. Now, I used to live in a small town in Canada, the place I went to high school. So the small town at the time was over 90% white people. Nowadays, I would say the percentage has dropped significantly since Justin Trudeau took power and Canada has let in millions of immigrants. So I had a neighbor, this white couple, just a regular white couple. They worked at a printing factory. It was only Monday to Friday, straight day shift, by the way. So no skill, no education. The printing factory they worked at, there was only 6 of them. And yeah, they were able to purchase a nice and big house. It doesn't matter what the previous generation says. Everything used to be easier way back then. Once in a while, the odd times, they will, probably work 1 or 2 extra hours just for overtime. So their regular work week was 40 hours a week. Yes, it did take 2 incomes for them to purchase their home. By the way, I would say in 2025, the house they own is probably worth something like $800,000 minimum. It could be higher. So they bought that house in the 1980s. I believe it was for something like $38,000. Now, that's just the brutal reality. It doesn't matter how much you want to twist the narrative. People back in the day, they just simply had it easier. So it was just a regular white couple. They only worked 40 hours a week at a printing factory, right? With no skill, with no education, 40 hours a week. And they were able to purchase a home. Nowadays, it's worth about $800,000. And I believe that they paid off their mortgage within less than 10 years. So they were debt-free before they turned 35. And the young people simply cannot afford to do that anymore. So unfortunately, because in countries like United States, like Canada, like Australia, like New Zealand, the predecessors of these white people, they worked extremely hard, and they were able to build some of the most civilized, some of the most advanced societies on Earth. And the next generation were able to inherit unbelievable amount of wealth from their predecessors. And once life got too comfortable for them, they all got lazy. So yeah, what happened on October 17th, 2018? By the way, this phenomenon is a cancer in the white culture. Stop blaming it on immigrants, stop blaming it on black people or Hispanics, because a lot of straight white male voted for Justin Trudeau as well. I never did. So yeah, what was the one thing that Justin Trudeau promised on top of, letting in millions of immigrants? He said that, oh yes, I'm Justin Trudeau. I'm going to legalize marijuana in every single part of Canada. And by the way, yes, I went to a high school that was over 90% white people. And the amount of white dudes that was smoking weed every single day, it was astounding. I would say probably, yeah, it's 50%. If it's not 50%, it's at least 40 to 45. These people, they just want to, sit on the couch in their basement. They just don't want to do anything. They just want to light up a joint and smoke their brains out. Because that's what you want to do every single day. I'm sorry to say, maybe weed is not a hardcore drug, but it's still a narcotic. Maybe it's not as bad as fentanyl or methamphetamine or cocaine or heroin. But smoking weed makes you extremely lazy. It makes you extremely unmotivated. Look at the sheer number of white men that's smoking weed every single day in Canada. And I'm sorry to say, as a non-smoker, the smell is horrendous, man. It's worse than cigarettes. It absolutely stinks. How many Asian guys have you seen that's just out there getting absolutely stoned out of their mind every single day? I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. It's very, very rare. And because white people got so comfortable to the point where you can only work 40 hours a week and still afford to buy a nice and big house. By the way, the white neighbor I used to live with, yes, they also raised 2 daughters, no problem at all. How many strikes has there been? As the recording of this video, Air Canada is currently on strike once again. I mean, this is a terrible, terrible habit. And by the way, I almost never see black people or Indians or Hispanics or Asians bring up this topic. It's always white people. They say that, oh, our company needs a union right now. We need a raise now. You guys don't pay me enough. I don't want to work past 40 hours a week. It's too much. I'm sorry to say, if you're a young single guy, if you're 20, 22, 24 years old, what is your excuse? On top of building this channel right now, I also have a full-time job. Yes, I'm working 40 hours a week. So right now, building this channel is my second job. And so I'm working what the Chinese call it 996. Yes, I am currently working 2 jobs full-time, about 70 hours a week in order to pay back all my debt. And my goal is that at some point next year, I will be building this channel full time. I've seen so many of these young white men over the years that have been living in Canada for over 20 years now. Yeah, because that's their number one goal. That's why they supported Justin Trudeau, because they want the legalization of marijuana and they don't want to work past 40 hours a week. They don't want to bust their ass off. And one of the many reasons why you guys want to talk about, why Asians don't commit crimes. Well, yeah, if everybody's working the 996, if everybody's working 72 hours a week, how are you going to have the time or the energy to commit crimes? You're going to be completely drained all the time. So yeah, a lot of these local white Canadian people, they absolutely freak out about overtime, even if it's just staying in for one extra hour. And if you ask these guys to work weekends, they absolutely lose their mind. And once every 6 months, 9 months, or a year past, if they haven't got a raise, or if the raise is only 1 or 2%, they'll start demanding things like, oh, you guys need to pay us more. We cannot do this anymore. More benefits, higher salary, and if not, we're going on strike. Oh, every company needs a union. If you guys make us work past 40 hours a week, we're going to go on strike. Yeah. How many strikes has there been? I'm serious, man. Just look at all the school boards, and it's been a total insanity, and it's the next generation that has to suffer, right? So millions of children out there, they're getting their childhood ruined by all of these strikes, by all of these school boards. It's almost happening on an annual basis. These teachers in Canada, they go on strike probably once every year, and I have to go through a couple of these strikes myself as well. You know, these professors who are making $150,000 a year, they say that, oh, that's not enough. We want $175,000. So then what happened, right? The Western governments, they realized something. Hey, why don't we just import millions of Chinese people first? And now in the more recent years, why don't we just import millions of Indians? Because in Asia, yeah, that's how most people work. Yeah, they work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week. So that's a 72-hour work week. By the way, some people work more than that. Some people work at 80 or 90 hours or even 100 hours a week. So yeah, why don't we just import millions of these immigrants from third world countries? And we're going to make them come here, and we're going to replace the local white people who are constantly complaining about working 42 or 45 hours a week. So we'll get millions of Indians to work at 7-Eleven, to work at Burger King, to work at Tim Hortons, to work at KFC, to work at the Dairy Queen, to work at Arby's. And instead of hiring local white people to work 40 hours a week, who are constantly complaining, we'll make these Indians work 72 hours a week. And guess what? There's going to be no annual vacation. And guess what? There's going to be zero benefits, zero dental coverage, no free massages. And these people will never ever get a raise from us. Not even a single penny. It doesn't matter even if they have been working at Tim Hortons for 10 years now. They will still get paid minimum wage. So that's exactly what happened. That's why Western governments are allowing this to happen. That's why white people are being relegated to second-class citizens, because the elites have realized we can just import millions and millions of these young military-aged men from third world countries, and we can use them as cheap labor. We don't want any of these European folks who are constantly complaining. And to all the white folks out there who wants to place the blame on black people, saying black fatigue. And sure, okay, so yes, there are a lot of black people who are unemployed. There are a lot of black people who are on food stamps. But if you look at the raw numbers, so in America, the percentage of black people that's currently on food stamps, it's about 23% of the population. For white people, it's 35%. Sure, so whites are 58% of the population in the United States, and the black people are 13%. When you look at it on a per capita basis, sure, there's a higher percentage of black people on food stamps, but still, 35% of food stamps recipients are white people. I'm sorry to say, if you're living in a Western country and if you're living off of food stamps, that means that you're 100% lazy. That's it. There's no excuse. And sure, a lot of you guys don't like Indians. A lot of you guys might not like Chinese people. How many Indians in any Western country have you guys seen that's currently homeless, that's currently on food stamps, that is currently unemployed, that's living off of welfare? Virtually none. Go to the city of Vancouver. Millions of Asians in that city, right? Almost all the homeless people in that city are white people. The reason why those people are homeless is because they're lazy. Now, I'm saying as a Chinese person, right now, right, I'm working 996. 99% of Chinese people, they would rather work themselves to death versus just being a complete bum, than just camp out in the middle of the park, just being homeless, and just stand at some random intersection in the middle of the day with a coffee cup, asking for a spare change from strangers that's driving by. That is 100% loser mentality. And I'll just give you guys a couple more examples towards the end of this video. So yeah, I used to be part of the cross-country running team on Carleton University. So this is one of my ex-teammates. I used to go to University of Ottawa, dropped out after 1 year, wants to be a rapper. Now, oh, I know you guys are thinking, ooh, this is black fatigue, this is black culture. No, this is a white guy. So yeah, good looking guy, very fit, runs faster than me. So yeah, he's 6'2". He has blonde hairs and blue eyes. He has no problem getting girls. And now in the couple years that I knew him, he's already had multiple girlfriends. Most of them are fairly attractive. So this guy, if he actually worked hard, right? If he just finished his degree, he could have easily gotten a government job that pays him 6 figures. Maybe not at the start, but eventually he'll be making 6 figures income. He has no problem getting women, right? He's 6'2", he's in shape, blonde hair, blue eyes. He's had lots of exes in the past few years. Then at the age of 19, he decides that, oh, all of this is whack, bro. I don't want any of this. I want to go to school. I'm too cool to go to class, man. I'm just going to drop out of school. I'm going to be a rapper. How did that work out for the African American community? And please, oh, don't bring up like Kendrick Lamar or something. For every single Kendrick Lamar out there, I can also find you guys at least 1,000, possibly 2 or even 3,000 African Americans that has dropped out of school, that's currently living on the streets, that's currently a gangster or drug dealer or homeless or still living in their parents' basement, or 100% failures. So stop talking about that, 0.01% of the times. I mean, dropping out of school at the age of 19 and trying to become a rapper, that is never, ever a good idea. And of course, I acknowledge that there are a lot of problems in the African American community. There's a problem with black culture. There's a problem with black on black crime. And of course, there's a problem with black on white crime. So, but a lot of this, yeah, I'm sorry to say, black people, they copied it from white people. And yeah, this is the result. Sure, a lot of white people, they might get triggered when I say white people are lazy now. Well, yes, understand it's not just white people. A lot of black folks are very lazy as well. Sure, who did they copy that culture from? They copied it from white people. So by the way, this guy who was trying to be a rapper, I'm sorry to say, he's not going to make it. And I don't know how he's surviving. He's probably still living with his parents. So in 2025, he will be in his late 20s now. He's probably not going to get married. His girlfriend, that's probably just a situationship. That's just a summer fling. It's nothing serious. So he's not going to get married. He's not going to have children. And this is why you have the population collapse. Even the guys who are able to find girlfriends, and that's what all they want to do. They want to piss around, drop out of school, become a rapper or something. They're still living with their parents. I mean, even if this guy gets married, right? If he wants to have children, how is he going to be able to provide financially for his children? Yeah, and also, my coach, well, my ex-running coach, so I'm not on the cross-country running team anymore. It's the same thing. So my coach was a woman, nice white Canadian girl. I mean, she's much older now. So yeah, they're very successful, herself and also her husband, both white Canadians. And they have a nice big house. I've been to their house for a Christmas party. And their house is probably worth over $1 million. So, they got a nice house. They both have good paying jobs. They have nice cars and everything. So, by the way, obviously, she's infertile now. She's in her 50s. They don't have any children. They're called DINKS. Yeah, this is also a cancer in the white culture. DINKS. Dual income, no children. Or sometimes it can be switched to K as well. It will become dual income, no kids. So I've lived in Canada for over 20 years. I met tens and thousands of these white Canadian couples. So by the way, this couple, they're in their 50s. So they grew up in the era before mass immigration, before rampant inflation. So the house they own now, that's over $1 million. They probably bought it for like $42,000 back in like 1985 or something. So, I mean, they had all the time, they had all the money, they had all the resources to actually raise 2, 3, or 4 different children. And it's not like they're in an extremely unhealthy or toxic marriage, right? They're happily married for over 30 years, but they decided that, we're just not going to have children. I mean, this mindset, this culture, it's absolute cancer, and it's what's leading to the downfall of white people. Because in order for any civilization to continue, you have to get married and you have to have children. And that's why Europe is being taken over by Muslims. Because, all the white women are saying that, I'm a girl boss. I don't need no man. I'm a feminist. I'm independent. I got everything going for myself. I'm going to climb the corporate ladder. I'm going to become a CEO. I'm going to make 6 figures. So why should I get married? Why should I have children? Just look at all these municipal buildings, look at all the school boards, look at all the pride flags. You want everybody to be LGBTQ, right? And that is the precise reason why Islam will take over Christianity as the #1 religion in the world. Probably, I would say by 2050. By 2050, there's probably going to be 2.5 billion Muslims, because all the Muslim women, right? All the brown women, all the black women, all the Arab women, they're pumping out 3, 4, 5, 6 children. And all the white women are saying that, oh, I don't need no man. I'm a single, independent girl boss. And the white dudes are saying that, oh, I'm gay, I'm queer, I'm non-binary, I'm pansexual, I'm a transvestite. So yeah, that's the state of white people. That's the state of white culture. What are you going to do when you become the minority, right? Because that's exactly what's happening. You want everybody to be gay, and you want everybody to become DINKS, and you want all the women to become a single independent career woman, while all the Muslim women are pumping out 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 children. So perhaps, it's time to look at yourselves in the mirror and have a serious moment of self-reflection. Perhaps instead of blaming it on the Muslims, blaming on the black culture, blaming all of this on millions and millions of immigrants from China and now from India, perhaps it's time for you guys to realize that the #1 reason why all of this is happening is because the vast majority of white people over the years, you guys got too comfortable, and you guys got extremely lazy. You guys want to just sit in the front porch and smoke weed all day. Yeah, because that's what millions of white men are absolutely comfortable with doing now. And by the way, throughout this entire video, I have been very, very sincere. And there's a reason why China, Japan, South Korea, and Singapore, they all had their economic miracles. That is the only way for you guys to achieve generational wealth. It's not from working 40 hours a week and spending all of your free time smoking weed, just sitting on the front porch. Yeah, this is the only way. The 996. That's how China got rich. That's how South Korea got rich. That's how Japan got rich. That's how Singapore got rich. And obviously, I understand, these Asian countries, they're in a decline as well. And I did mention in previous videos, the reason why they're in a massive decline, it's because the rampant divorce rate. It's because the total collapse of the nuclear family. Right now, I'm working 2 full-time jobs because that is the only way to escape extreme poverty. That is the only way you can turn your life around. That is the only way you can build generational wealth. So stop being a bump. Stop being so lazy. Stop smoking so much weed every single day. It is going to absolutely destroy your mental and physical health. It makes you extremely lazy, and it makes you extremely unmotivated. There's a very good reason why cannabis is 100% illegal in every single part of China. So if you guys want to reverse the current trend where white people are being relegated into becoming second-class citizens, I'm telling you guys, get off the drugs and clean your room, work extremely hard. If you guys need to, take on multiple jobs so you guys can have multiple sources of income. Become model citizens. Lead by example.